Hello, and welcome to Storytime with One Big Hoax. I'm your host, Trina Hoax. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about a case that gripped a nation with its heartbreaking details and baffling circumstances: the disappearance of 5-year-old Summer Wells. It was a sunny, warm day on June 15th, 2021, a Tuesday in a small, rural community in Rogersville, Tennessee. The Wells family, Don and Candace Wells, and their three sons and their only daughter, 5-year-old Summer, lived in a modest home on Ben Hill Road. Their property was tucked away in a heavily wooded, mountainous area, a place where neighbors are few and far between. According to Summer's parents, Don and Candace, the day started like any other. Summer had been playing in a basement of the house, which was being used for storage while her mother was upstairs. Some people have stated that that was being used as a bedroom, not just storage. The family was preparing for a camping trip. Summer's mother, Candace, said that she called down to her daughter and, a few minutes later, went to check on her, but Summer wasn't there. The timeline of events is a bit murky, and this is where the case begins to get complicated. The family's initial statements to the police were, at times, inconsistent. Don Wells told reporters that he believes Summer may have just walked away, but the terrain around their home is steep and densely forested. A small child, even one who knows the area, would find it incredibly difficult to navigate. The parents, Don and Candace, reported Summer missing at around 6:30 p.m. A massive search effort was launched almost immediately. Law enforcement, volunteers, and search and rescue teams scoured the rugged terrain. Drones, K-9 units, and helicopters were all deployed. For weeks, the community rallied, desperate to find the little girl with the distinctive blonde hair and bright blue eyes. But they found nothing. No footprints, no discarded clothing, no signs of a struggle. It was as if Summer had simply vanished into thin air. As the days turned into weeks and the search intensified, the media attention on the Wells family grew, and with that attention came scrutiny. Don and Candace Wells' past began to surface. Both had prior criminal records, including charges for domestic violence and DUI. Don Wells had also been accused of abuse by a previous spouse, but the charges had been dropped. The parents' behaviors in interviews was also a source of public concern. They often appeared emotional, but some observers found their explanations and body language to be evasive. Don, in particular, was very vocal, but sometimes his statements seemed to contradict known facts. Authorities have consistently said that the parents are cooperating, but they've also stated that they can't rule anyone out as a person of interest. The family's home was searched and forensic evidence was collected, but no information has been released to the public about any of the findings. The case has also been a target for online sleuths and armchair detectives, many of whom have latched onto every detail, every interview, and every social media post made by the family. The internet has been a double-edged sword in this case. On one hand, it has kept Summer's face and story in the public eye. On the other hand, it's created a breeding ground for misinformation, wild theories, and sometimes baseless accusations against the family and others. Let's talk about some of the theories. One of the most common theories is that Summer's disappearance was the result of foul play by someone known to her. This theory is supported by the fact that there's no evidence supporting that she left the property on her own. It would be nearly impossible for a 5-year-old to survive in that wilderness for an extended period, especially without leaving a single trace. Another theory, often discussed online, is that Summer was abducted by a stranger. However, this is considered less likely by law enforcement as the Wells home is in a very isolated area. A stranger would have to know where to go and how to get there without being noticed. The family has also been investigated by Child Protective Services in the past, and there were concerns about the living conditions of the home. These details have fueled the belief among some that the children were not in a safe environment. However, there has been no definitive evidence released by law enforcement that point to the parents as a cause of Summer's disappearance. It's now been over 4 years since Summer Wells vanished. The hope of finding her alive diminished with each passing day, but the case remains an active investigation. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, or TBI, and the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office have continued to ask for the public's help. A reward for information leading to Summers' whereabouts has been offered. The family has also created a website and social media pages to keep her story alive. The disappearance of Summer Wells is a tragic reminder of how quickly a child can vanish and how a family's personal life can be put on display under the harsh glare of public and media scrutiny. The case continues to be an open wound in the community of Rogersville and for everyone who has followed the story. So, what happened to Summer Wells? Did she wander off and get lost in the unforgiving wilderness? Was she a victim of a crime perpetrated by someone she knew or a complete stranger? For now, the echoes of this unsolved mystery remain. If you have any information about the disappearance of Summer Wells, no matter how small or insignificant you think it is, please contact the TBI at 1-800 TBI FIND. So that is all for this episode of Storytime with One Pig Hoax. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.